What's going on, guys? Rich Schneider right here from Nittany Nation. I'm joined by a special guest, Jason. How do I say it? Belzer? Belzer?
Belzer. Yep.
Belzer. So, Jason, for people that don't know, you're the founder of Athlete NIL, the founder of AD University. Just tell me a little bit about your background and all this stuff.
Yeah, so I've been in this business for about 15 years, Rutgers graduate, former student athlete there. And I do a couple of different things. We have an agency, represent college coaches, college basketball, football coaches,
Okay.
run a media company called D1 Ticker Athletic Director U,
Mm-hmm.
AD University. And then we launched Sunil Student Athlete NIL about a year and a half ago, about 6 months before NIL became a reality.
Mm-hmm. So now, I know obviously the big thing that we're here to talk about is the Penn State thing that just happened, the Success with Honor collective.
Yep.
I know it's technically not tied in with Penn State, but just give me a little bit of the background on how this just happened. Of course, there's a bunch of big notable names. Just off the top of my head, Calvin Booth, LeVar Arrington, Michael Robinson, and the list goes on and on. How did this whole thing just kind of come together?
Yeah, so we started working with universities last summer through our student empowerment program. And essentially we are a third-party intermediary with a number of schools, University of Florida, LMU, Creighton, Robert Morris in Pennsylvania. And we got introduced to some of the folks at Penn State, the board of trustees. They were interested in getting involved. Obviously, collectives are kind of popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we just had some conversations and said, hey, we can help build this for you guys and run it. Our goal is we are a professionally managed organization. So we are making this process as seamless as possible, but also we're a personal services company. So somebody has to actually be on the ground to help execute this from a collective standpoint. So making sure the student athletes are delivering on what they're contracted to do, helping raise money. And so that's what we do as a company. And so Success with Honor, which was the ethos of Joe Paterno, which was the name of the individuals that put together the collective, the board, and we kind of put it all together in the last couple of weeks. We got a lot of seed funding in. So we have over $500,000 in money allocated. And then we launched yesterday. And just from our subscription-based service, we've raised over $60,000 in additional funding. But I suspect that we will be over 7 figures shortly.
Damn, that's kind of crazy to think. I know this whole NIL thing is just kind of crazy, but how does this kind of work from a student athlete perspective? Do you guys just kind of, are you like a third party and then you kind of are negotiating deals, or is it more on them? Like how does this?
Yeah, so we don't represent the student athletes. So our clients are either a business or a brand or a donor that gives us money. So as an example, let's say Nike came to us and said, we want to do a deal with 10 Penn State football players.
Yeah,
we will go and say, okay, what type of player do you want to work with? Is it, social media matter? Is it, are they somebody that's doing something in the philanthropy space? Is it a particular major? What are the deliverables of that? And hey, is it social media posts? Are you going to be doing a photo shoot? And we're going to manage all of that process for them. We're going to go hire the student athlete and we're going to go pay them for whatever it is they have to do. From a donor standpoint or alumni standpoint, there's really 2 buckets. So the one is, hey, you have individuals that can subscribe to the collective, and that's basically up to $500 a month. And for that, they're going to get specific assets and access to autograph stuff, access to student athletes in private events, tailgates, autograph signings, all of those things. And then there are the bigger donors who, are giving us $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, and they can either allocate those dollars to all of Penn State student athletes or a specific sport. And then our mandate is to go out and take every one of those dollars and create opportunities for everybody. So if they say, here's $100,000 for women's basketball, we get to go spend that money and hire the student athletes to do autographs, do a camp or a clinic with them, send them to do something in the philanthropy space. Hey, go read books to kids at a children's hospital, go to the Y and do whatever. So, but we're working on some really awesome stuff. We're going to make an announcement here in the next few weeks on an initiative that will basically make Penn State like the #1 school from a name, image, and likeness standpoint, thanks to the collective. And that's and it's education focused. It's going to be really, really cool. But, we're also talking about doing, we're setting up autographs at the spring game. And so anyone that's going to go to the spring game is going to be able to go and, do autographs with the football team, but they may also have the women's basketball team there as well. So it's going to be really just a great opportunity for Penn State fans to be able to interact with their student athletes and
Mhm.
do things that they couldn't do before because it was against NCAA rules.
So now where's this, like, there's kind of a fine line here, right? If I'm correct, where it's like you can't really like overstep because they can't say too much with in terms of like if you're donating, you want to hear like something about the team, obviously. Like the quarterback's not obviously going to be able to tell you about the team, but isn't there like a fine line there that's like really, is it really tough to not cross that line but stay on the border there?
You mean in terms for the student athlete or for us in the?
I would guess in terms of what you guys can offer with the subscription service, like obviously the autograph thing, that's something completely
Right.
different, but I'm sure they're gonna want like insider knowledge for like if I'm paying the subscription, you think they would want like the quarterback to tell them
Well,
about.
it's up to the QB to say that, but yeah, I mean, I
Mhm.
don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if Sean Clifford wants to be able to come on a podcast
Yeah.
and an exclusive and or Zoom and hey, have a conversation about his strategy for when he's going to go play Michigan or Ohio
Yeah.
State, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Mhm.
And so it's exclusive. We're obviously monitoring who's going in there,
Yeah.
and so, but really, we're trying to create value. The money is going into the pockets of the student athletes,
Yeah.
right? So we're trying to create value, but they're getting paid for a service, right? They're signing
Mhm.
an autograph, they're doing a camp or a clinic, we're
Yeah.
going to have exclusive NFTs, really all kinds of stuff. And so that value, this is not a pay for play model. This is not here's $50,000 so you can come to our school. That's not what we're about.
Yeah.
But clearly, if student athletes are going to get paid, that's something that's of value to them. You know, it's a value to recruits. They know if I come to Penn State, I get my scholarship, I get all of this really, great coaching, great facilities.
Mhm.
I'm going to have opportunities off the field. That's what matters, right? And so we're
Yeah.
trying to create the best holistic opportunity for student athletes at the university
Mhm.
and not say, here's cash to come play for us. That's not.
Of course. One big question I have that I think a lot of other people have been asking on the boards and stuff. Now, is this going to be like a choice type of thing where it's like, all right, I either have to do NIL and donate there, or I have to donate towards like a new football building or something like that?
Yeah, so the short answer is yes, it's a choice, but what we've seen is that people want to do both.
Okay.
And now that you have an opportunity to give money directly to the student athletes, there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that are saying, I'd rather do that than the school.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are like, hey, I want to give $100 to the school and I'm going to give $100 directly to the student athlete. So
Mhm.
I think based on the fact that we've raised a whole bunch of money very quickly,
Yeah.
that there's an appetite, and our goal is to make the pie bigger, not just cut a piece of it
Mhm.
off.
Of course. So now, you just mentioned that you have a bunch of different schools so far that you partnered with, or whatever collectives, if you want to call it that. Now, where does Penn State kind of stand so far in early? I know it's only been 2 days, but in early draws and early money. Number one.
Number one, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we've raised this much money this quickly
Mhm.
says a lot. Now, part of that is because Penn State has a huge alumni base and a huge fan base, so that helps.
Yeah.
But they're passionate and they're eager, and I'm excited. And that's why we're so excited, like literally, because we think that this can be the biggest collective in college sports. And to do it the right way will be awesome, right? So what we want to do is be sitting here 2-3 years from now and be like, student athletes at Penn State have it best, right? And it's not just because they're making the most money, it's because they have all of these sick opportunities that we're bringing them. And it's internships, it's job opportunities, it's camps, it's whatever. That's going to be really, really fun. And the brands that we're going to bring involved to get involved in this, the former alumni that are involved, it's going to be cool.
Now you mentioned former alumni. I know I mentioned a couple big names before. How'd you approach these guys? Was it just kind of like right away they're like, yeah, we're on board, that's it? Or was it more of like
pretty much everybody we said, hey, who do we get that's most notable? But it's not even about notoriety. It's more like who actually wants to come back and get involved, do collaborations, be an ambassador. And so we just approached some of the bigger people, and they were all like, let's go. Like, we love this, and we're going to do collaborations with them. So yeah, they're all pumped. And that's, again, kind of goes to show the passion of the alumni base to want to be part of that. All these former student athletes jumped on board pretty much immediately.
Interesting. So now you also talked about kind of a futuristic thing that now I guess not many people know about are NFTs. Is that a thing for Penn State? Is that going to become a thing soon?
Yes. Yeah. So we're working on that. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, but certainly our collective will be working with student athletes and potentially former alumni to do exclusive drops. And we'll be announcing those things over the next couple of weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be all kinds of things that we come up with. So it's gonna be awesome. Like, again, we think about like fantasy camps, all of that. There's going to be so much opportunity to engage with these student athletes that I think people will be really excited.
Mm-hmm. So now, other than NFTs, I know you don't want to reveal too much because you guys obviously have a lot planned for this, but give me another like little surprise that's coming up that you can talk about.
Yeah, so I mentioned we are doing something that is going to support all the student athletes on each team, right? So it's going to be, to my knowledge, the first NIL activation, not just in collectives, that is going to give an opportunity to each member of a team at a university, and that is why I said that it's going to show why Penn State cares more about NIL than any other school, because it's going to hit every single sport, male, female. And that, again, will hopefully be announced in the next couple of weeks. We just got to get it done. Yeah. So we're already working on it.
So other than that, what would you say is kind of next up for this, the collective?
So the next step is really, stay tuned. I know it's like a big launch and then we got to start, but we are going to, the goal here is creating a sustainable model. And so we realize that we have to provide a return for fans. And so once they see what we're doing with their dollars, they're going to be like, I love this. I want to continue to support it. I'm getting value out of it. I'm seeing student athletes. Because if we don't, then people are not going to want to give anymore. And so this is it's a philanthropic endeavor at the end of the day, right? Like, it's not like a business where we're generating dollars. This is, people have to give us money and we have to do important things with it.
Now, do you consult with like coaches before this, or is it kind of just have you consulted with like other random college coaches in general and just kind of like, hey, what do you guys think? We're going to do this on the side, or is it just more or less like they're—
So generally the coaches are not involved in this because that's not, like, one, we are not supposed to communicate with them, and two, we are supposed to serve the student athletes.
Gotcha.
But the coaches are aware. We know what the rules are, and our goal again is try to help as many of the kids as possible.
Gotcha. And I guess the last thing, kind of just give me a little plug for where people can go donate or sign up and join this collective.
Yeah, so it's successwithhonor.org, and that's where you can come. You can either subscribe to us, so we have subscriptions anywhere from $10 to $500 a month. Okay. And if somebody is interested in giving more money, you can contact us directly. Our email address is right on the site. And yeah, we're looking forward to working with a lot of Penn State alumni, and we will have a presence here in a couple of weeks at the spring game. So we'll see people out there.
Awesome. Perfect. Jason, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Richard.